And now we have the present 17th Karmapa, who seems to be studying also this Thangka painting and sculpting. And I've seen some of his paintings and drawings, and they are very, very good. So it's very, very promising again to have a Karmapa who is very artistic. And so that's more or less sort of the history of the Thangka painting and the symbolic styles. So I'll get on now with the more technical side of Thangka painting. Thangka, the word thang in Thangka means a plain or a flat surface, and thus a Thangka is a kind of a painting done on a flat surface, but which can be rolled up when not required for display. Sometimes it's also called a scroll painting. And there's another explanation for that word, which says that thang comes from thang yik, which means annal or written record, and the ending yik, which means letter, and carries the sense of written, is replaced by the ordinary substantive ending ka. Thus the thangka, or the word thangka, has the sense of a record of history of when you're painting. The first thing a Thangka painter has to study is the proportions of the various divinities, the correct proportions and the elegance of the deity that one wants to portray is treated as the most important aspect of painting, and a lot of time is invested in it. I remember when we were studying painting, I don't know how many times, but I'm sure I must just have drawn the face of the Buddha like 50 times. Every time I painted there was something which was not good, or the eyes were a little bit bigger, or the mouth was a little bit not symmetrical, so I had to do it again and again and again and again until I got it really correctly. And then after that, one had to study the hands and the feet separately, and that's studying in a very, very traditional manner I'm speaking, of course. So these forms, the facial expressions, the hands, the feet, of course the hands are also very, very important because it will you later learn all the different mudras and the attributes a deity is holding. So these elements of the bodies are very, very important, and of course the general elegance also has to be important. So a lot of time is invested by the students or the painters to get this drawings of the body proportions correct. And although numerous erudite and accomplished Tibetan commentators in the past have classified the subject matter of drawing into 5 parts or 8 parts or 11 parts, there are no great contradictions between these systems. They are more or less the same. But the tradition that I follow speaks of 11 sections in treating the subject matters. The first subject matter that we study is the Buddha. Like I said, we had to do the face of the Buddha, the feet and everything. So this one comes in the first section of the Nirmanakaya Buddha. The second section is of the Sambhogakaya Buddha. The third section of the wrathful ascetics. The fourth section of the Bodhisattva. The fifth section, feminine divinities. The sixth section of the wrathful Yama. The seventh section of wrathful Yaksha. The eighth of wrathful demon. Section 9, the Stravakas and Patekya Buddhas. And section 10, Digbala. And finally section 11, human beings. So before one could paint or hold a brush, we had to be able to draw all these different images and forms that were in these 11 different subjects or sections. So once the student is adept at drawing the figures correctly, he is then further trained to paint on the canvas. Generally, the canvas is made of cotton. It is stitched on support of sticks or bamboos and is stretched on a wooden frame. It is then applied with a mixture of white sand and glue and left to dry. Once the canvas is dried, it is wet polished to obtain a certain degree of smoothness. And once the canvas is ready, the painter begins to sketch the figure he wants to portray or paint. In Tibet, of course, we not only painted on canvas, we painted on rocks, on walls, on papers, on slabs of iron or slabs of silver, whatever material it was painted. Of course, the most well known is the ones that are painted on canvas, Thangka painting. But whatever the case, we have to make certain distinction if you want to really follow it correctly. If you are painting deities of the sutras, the canvases that you use, the cotton that you use, has to be a cotton made from plants and not a single animal or insect had to be harmed while producing that cotton. But if you were painting deities of the higher tantras, of the Yoga Tantra, the Father Tantra, and the Mother Tantra, you could use other forms of cottons. Not only that, in some very, very special cases, cottons that were wrapped around bodies of corpses were used to paint these deities. So you can make a very clear distinction when you're working on painting, any form of painting, what kind of cottons you used. When the sketch or the drawing is made, the upper part of the Thangka or the sky is shaded with blue, and the blue of the sky is considered as the reflection of the ocean on the south side from the rays of Mount Meru. Mount Meru, of course, being the central point of Tibetan cosmology, and the earth is situated on the south side, so it's generally considered the sky is considered as a vacuum, as a space, but the blue is just a reflection of the ocean caused by Mount Meru. The lower part of the Thangka is shaded green, representing earth. And now there are different methods of shading. In general, the sky, earth, and clouds are shaded with granular shading style. A granular shading style is a style that is very, very frequently used by the Karmakati painters. When you're painting, when you're shading in a granular style, you have to be able to see the small dots or grains, like the seeds of mustards, they say. And then water, trees, caves, and rocks are shaded in line shading style. So it's similar to granular shading, but instead of making small dots, now you start making small lines. And for clothes, ornaments, thrones, another shading style was applied, which is called a smooth shading style. In this shading style, you should not be able to see the differences or the, how do you call it, the